Hello and welcome to the next part of Anniversary no Kuni no Alice. Last time, Alice and Boris made fun of Goland, had an excursion into a horror movie because of that, and Alice got, well, therapy in her dreams via nightmare. So let's see how everything continues now. My eyes fly open. The moment I wake up, the specifics of my dream begin to blow away. Almost like what happens after a real dream. But this isn't this is a dream. This isn't my bedroom. I'm still in the wonderland that the rabbit man Peter White dragged me into. My strange dream is still ongoing. In other words, I had a dream inside of another dream. This isn't good. I'm starting to feel like I won't wake up from the dream. My head is fuzzy. In the fog of my mind, I know this clearly.
夢だよ。
Dream.
これは夢だ。
That's right, this is a dream. That voice was nightmares. The voice of a dream inside a dream. How complicated. But it is a dream. Even if I'm having a dream inside another dream, it doesn't change the fact that it's all a dream. A dream within a dream is still obviously a dream. After getting dressed, some employees came in.
失礼します。
失礼します。
Come in. Whether it's afternoon, evening or night, the employees here are always bounding with energy. And always armed with guns. I guess it's standard issue for them.
お部屋を掃除させていただいても構いませんか？
Huh? Oh, I'll do it. I'm quite good at cleaning.
そういうわけにはいきませんよ。
そうですよ。私たちがやります。
僕たちは掃除が大好きなんです。
私もです。お掃除大好き。
楽しいですよね、掃除って。
さあ、楽しくお掃除しましょう。ここが終わったら園内の掃除です。
So enthusiastic. Makes me feel like I'm supposed to act enthusiastic too. You're so intense first thing in the day. Alright, I'll leave the cleaning to you.
あら、今起床されたんですか？眠そうな顔ですよ。
Yeah, I did. I can't sleep right unless I go to bed during the night. You guys are amazing for being able to sleep no matter what time of the day it is. Time in this world changes at random. It seems like the servants here work regardless of whether it's daytime or not.
慣れですよ。僕たちは慣れているだけです。
お客様もこの世界に慣れれば時間帯など気にならなくなります。
慣れちゃえば時間なんて関係なくなりますよ。
I'm not so sure. I do feel bad for sleeping while you guys are busy working.
あら、気にしないでください。私たちも好きな時間に睡眠をとっていますから。
僕たちは交代して眠っているんです。活動時間にズレがあるだけでお互い様ですよ。それに僕たちは役なしのカードなんで気を使っていただかなくても。
The employees say that kind of thing a lot. At first I thought they were just being humble, but that doesn't seem to be it. I'm imposing on you by staying here, so of course I concern myself.
そんなお客様なんですから気を使ったりしないでください。
そうですよ。お客様は神様です。
That's not quite right. I can tell from their attitudes that they have nothing against me, they're employees and I'm a guest. Still, I can get a sense of whether they like me or not. They might not be very skilled at dealing with guests, since I can tell what they think so easily. But I don't think it's bad having them like me. They've taken advantage of that goodwill. I've had nothing to do while staying here, so I've been keeping myself busy by helping them with their work. I've been writing it off as being bored and needing something to do, but I know I shouldn't. I don't think I'm being in their I'm in their way, I actually think I'm helping. But when all is said and done, this is their job. It isn't good to take somebody's job away from them. I learned that from the maid that comes to my real home. I'm sorry for I'm always getting in your way.
とんでもないです。
そうですそうです。とても助かりました。
Still, I feel bad. I knew they would say that. It's unfair of me, but I said that so they would reassure me. Even if I'm not in their way, I'm sure I'm still making this hard for them. To them, I'm ultimately a guest. I'm sure I try to help. They don't know how to deal with it a lot of the time. Even my room is actually a guest room. If the guest cleans it, they lose their purpose. I could keep my cleaning to a minimum, but then I would run out of things to do. I don't want to spend my time just loafing around. Maybe I could find somebody that's not a so-called role-less card to kill some time with. I guess today I'll be a proper guest and go out while you handle the cleaning.
お出かけですか？
いいかもしれませんね。遊園地にこもりきりで退屈されていらっしゃるでしょうし、いくら遊ぶ場所だからってずっといたら飽きちゃいますよね。
でもお客様はまだ外をあまりよくご存知でない。
はあ、そうすると危険かも。
I'll be fine. It's not like I'm sheltered or anything. Having no worry about me just going out makes me feel like I'm some kind of cuddled princess. Of course, I only feel like that. There's no way I'm actually a cuddled princess.
お出かけならオーナーに相談してみてください。
You know, they actually have reason to worry. The people here are not normal. Goland? He doesn't seem particularly reliable. He's nice, but I'm not sure any of his explanations would be very helpful.
それがいいです。お出かけになるのならこの国について詳しく知ってからの方が安心です。
Well, I guess that's a good point, but...
そうそう、ご相談なさるべきですよ。何も知らずに外へ出るのは危険です。
Go on now, the urge, nudging my back. They seem to think this is a great idea. I can't win against their enthusiasm. Why are they so cheerful? I feel like they're sucking the life right out of me.
出かけるって？そうか。止める理由はないが、心配だな。
For good reason. Death ends exist in this game after all. Alright. Since I'm guessing everyone that watches this does not know anything about the country here, let's do the explanation. Golan was concerned about my safety, just like I thought he would be. Are you worried? I was actually happy he cared. After all, I'm just a freeloader to him.
お前さんの住んでいた世界には詳しくないが、ここはそこよりもちょいと危険な国だ。
It is, it is. I can tell that much. All the amusement park employees carry guns. There's no way this world is safe.
よそ者だから心配はいらないだろうな。
What do you mean?
よそ者ってのはそういう存在らしい。この世界のものなら誰もが好感を持ち、親しくなりたいと思う。よそ者とはそういうものらしい。
Is that so? I remembered what Nightmare said in my dream. So far, that has been the case here. He said most of the people here would like me, would fall in love with me. I can see why that's convenient, but it could also be trouble, yes. If everybody who likes me behaves like Peter, I would rather face their indifference.
俺もあまり詳しくないから断定はできないが、そういう話だ。
What about the other outsiders you met? Did everybody like them?
そりゃ、どうかな。
Eh?
よそ者についての知識はある。だが、非常に珍しいんだ。
So you've met some before, haven't you? No? Not even one?
ああ。 よそ者ってのには一人も会ったことがない。
But from the way you talked, I assumed you had met at least one. Zero, huh? So that's why he lets me freeload here? He's curious about me. I see. When you kept mentioning outsiders, I thought it meant there was more of us.
そんなにたくさんいるのなら、もっと気を使った呼び方になるだろ
Even if there aren't many, I don't want to be called that. Outsiders isn't a pleasant word.
う。旅行者とか、そういう風な。
Yes, that would be better. But either way, it still makes me sound like a foreigner, like I'm still not welcome here.
呼び方がなんであれ、よそ者というのは好かれる存在らしいぜ。どういう理由からか、この世界の者にとっては好意を持たずにいられない存在。大層な話だが、悪くないだろう。よそ者が好かれるというよりは、この国の人間に好かれやすい者がよそ者としてやってくるらしい。
I am leaning. Gowland is saying that. So you're saying that you're not sure of the facts.
実際に会うのは初めてだ。知識にあっても、どこまで本当のことかは知らない。いい加減っちゃそうだよな。珍しいあんたに会えたのは運がいいぜ。俺はついてるってことだ。
What? You think I'm a lucky? Blah. What? You think I'm a luck charm or something? Like how seeing a white cat is supposed to bring you happiness? Or was it a blue bird? Today you will have good luck, if you carry this hot pink keychain, or whatever.
まあまあ。珍しいものにあったら幸運だって思うのはおかしいことじゃないだろう。悪い意味に取るなよ。
How can I not be offended? I'm not the sort of person whom everybody likes, but is it really that much better for people to think of me as some kind of charm? Golan sounded like Nightmare, trying to persuade me that it was a good thing, but just because I'm not easily liked, it doesn't mean that I want people to like me without reason, like they're under a magic spell. I don't know if I'm unique, but I am pretty brazen enough to accept an offer to stay in a strange man's mansion. But while I might be brazen, accepting his offer was all I'd done, nothing further. Thinking that way made me feel better. Besides, life here isn't so bad. The employees were friendly, though they had guns. Boris was kind, if not a bit crazy. And Collins was very understanding, though he kept making me listen to his music.
珍しいこともあるが、あんたはポリスなんかよりよっぽどいい居候だ。これからも好きなだけ滞在してくれて構わないぜ。
I didn't think I had spent much time here, but Golan seemed to like my way of life, my personality. I appreciate it. If you evict me, I won't have a place to stay, and life here has become comfortable for me. Even if this is a dream, I want to live in comfort.
外に出るなら、この国の基本知識ぐらい教えといてやるよ。いくらよそ者が好かれやすい性質を持っているらしいって言っても、本当にそうなのかよくわからない。
Yeah, like I said, death endings exist.
知識不足で危険な目にあったら不幸だからな。
Yes, that would be very helpful. He really is a nice person. Even though his name and his taste in music is weird. And with that, Golan began his explanation.
この国は三勢力に分かれて領土争いをしている。決着はなかなかつかないし、これからも当分解決の見込みがない。解決の目処も立たない不毛なゲームだ。ゲームってのは強制じゃつまらないとは思うが、あんたもこの世界に来たからには何らかのゲームに参加しなくちゃならない。それがルールだ。
This world seems to be based on a game, a world that revolves around fighting, like a common setup for novels. In a three-way war, it's hard to make progress.
よく知ってるじゃないか。
I like to read history books.
女の子にしちゃ珍しい趣味だ。やっぱりよそ者だといろいろと違うんだな。
Yes, it's not unique to study history in my world. My big sister and I are avid readers, but she likes completely different genres. I prefer history books, not fiction. Things that happen in real life. At least, that's what I often said. But looking at my current situation, maybe I need to change my opinion. Yes, the three-way war. If only this world could be more realistic, then I wouldn't want to wake up from this dream. It's a deadlock where no one can move. I remembered the information from a book I read. If an autocracy split into two, one side could crush the other. But if there are three parties of an equal power and none of them form an alliance, it will most likely end in a stalemate. Now, which real-world country did I learn that
そう
from?
いうことだ。同じぐらいの勢力で領土を奪ったり奪われてたり、三つに分かれると睨み合いが続きやすくなる。だがそういうのは全部よそ者であるあんたには関係のない争いだ。
Whoops. Didn't you say I had to play the game? When you said I would have to participate, I thought I would have to go out and fight, like in some sensational adventure novel, like in an epic fantasy. I don't think I know how to fight, but it's a dream. Anything can happen.
すぐに殺されてしまうのはオチだろ。この争いに参加しようなんていう気は起こさないことだな。
Garland stared at me, amazed I would want to fight at all. Is he saying I won't get any magical powers even though this is a dream? That is one realistic
勢
dream.
力争いをしているのは三勢力であって、よそ者のあんたはどこにも属していない。あんたのやるゲームは勢力争いとは無関係だ。元の世界へ帰るか否か、そういうゲームになる。
What? That's such a boring
つ
game.
まらないって？切実じゃないか。
Nope, because the game will definitely end with me going home. In the end, I'll wake up from this dream, trying to escape when I already know the outcome doesn't interest me. Hey, I would go home now if I could.
そう思っているのなら、ゲームは簡単に終わるだろうな。ゲームの結末はまだまだ決まっていないぜ。今の状態ではあんたが不利かもな。
Don't talk like I don't want to go home. I want to leave this endless world as soon as I possibly
そ
can.
うか。
His insinuating tone made me angry, but without waiting for my reply, Golden continued his explanation. He even pulled out a map, so I had no choice but to go along. Missing his explanation would only have been bad for me.
まずここ、遊園地だ。
Well, not much was obvious. I know that, so why did you— wait. On the map, why is the amusement park covering so much land?
ここも三勢力のうちの一つなんだ。
This place? But it's an amusement park. Golan said it himself, this is an amusement park. A functioning amusement park. Even if all the employees are carrying guns, it's still an amusement park with rides, fairs and attractions.
遊園地だ。
He's serious. What kind of war is this? What kind of park gets involved in a land
あ
war?
まり聞かない話かな。
It's not something you hear about at all. I don't know any entertainment companies that would have started wars.
土地を争っているから無縁じゃない。遊園地というのは土地が必要なもんだ。
That's your only problem? I don't know if it needs land, but I doubt an amusement park can find in armed conflicts. What, are there other factions, entertainment groups too? If an amusement park can fight a war, then the other two sides are probably just as ridiculous. What if Golan's amusement park is fighting two other amusement parks? That wouldn't be tense at all. That's not a war, that's a bunch of parks competing for customers.
いや、他の二勢力はハートの城とマフィアの連中だ。
A castle and a mafia. A ruler in a castle would be a national power, and I can see why the mafia would get involved. Light and shadow. Throughout history, the lines of battle have always been drawn between those with power and those who were criminals. But an amusement park? Really? A carnival can't oppose a castle, and a carnival can't oppose a castle or mafia, right? I don't get it. What kind of power can you possibly have? What kind of amusement park is stupid enough to go to war?
従業員たちはみんな銃を携帯しているだろう。戦闘能力がないわけじゃない。
But children come here, you know, to play. Now that I know, I can't believe they still come. It's great that I'm allowed to stay here, but there are other guests. I see families and children, so many of them, bringing their kids to a park where all the workers bear arms. What on earth are this world's parents
ス
thinking?
リルがあって面白いだろう。 ジェットコースターも顔負けのスリルが味わえるぜ。
No, that doesn't make me excited. A park that lets you experience real danger is way too scary.
俺だって有力者だぜ。園内は意外と治安がいいんだ。
Wow, I didn't expect that. As I mulled over what he said, Golan tapped the map with his
場所
finger.
は変わって、ここがハートの城。ハートの女王が治め、ペーター・ホワイトが宰相を務める領土で。
Wait, what? The Castle of Hearts. That was already too much like a fairy tale, but now I felt worse. What did you say about Peter again?
ペーター・ホワイトはこの城で宰相を務めている。
It didn't sound like he was
知ら
joking.
なかったのか。
Prime Minister. Peter is a Prime Minister. That has to be a
本
lie.
当のことだぜ。敵としてはなかなか手強いやつだ。
Golan seemed to be lost in memory. I looked confused too. The Prime Minister is a perverted rabbit. With a Prime Minister like that, the castle's lucky to be standing.
俺の知る限り、ペーター・ホワイトは優秀な男だ。狡猾で隙が少ない。陰湿という意味では、残忍性もこの城を統治する女王の上を行くだろ
Are we talking about the same
う。ペ
person?
ーター・ホワイトだろ。
Yes, it sounds like you're talking about someone else.
同姓同名なんていないぜ。いても殺される前に解明しているはずだ。
He would kill someone for sharing a
奴
name?
は簡単に人を殺す。冷血な奴だ。
But Peter White didn't seem like that when I met him. It's not that I known him for very long, but he made an impression and this wasn't it. Shrewd, takes no chances, underhanded, brutal. How could he, out of all people, be some kind of criminal mastermind?
ハートの城は三勢力の中で最も分かりやすい権力を持っている。
Despite our differing opinions, go on, keep talking. Because it's castle,
ああ
right?
形態によるところが大きい。統治者が無茶苦茶でもな。税金の徴収も堂々と行えるし、多少の荒事は公然と行える。民衆は権力者に弱い。分かりやすく力を誇示すれば、なんとかなるものだっつう見本だな。
Wow, I wouldn't want to be governed by a ruler like that. Then Golan pulled out a photograph.
これがハートの女王ビバルディだ。さっき言っていたペーター・ホワイトの上司だな。
She's also a love interest. What a beautiful person. She's one of the most gorgeous women I've ever seen. She's Peter's superior. She appointed him as prime minister. For that alone, I knew she wasn't reasonable, but her actions don't match her picture. How anticlimactic. I could tell she was the queen just by looking at her photograph. So strong, so beautiful.
外見はな。この姉さんは怖いぜ。凶暴かつ残忍。毒のような女ってやつだ。服の色まで毒々しい。
A deep red, too vivid for the eyes. Is that supposed to be
危
poison?
険だから気をつけろよ。
You don't like her? Golan's voice was bitter.
長年の敵だからな。傲慢で気分次第に敵だろうと部下だろうと処刑しまくる女だ。
He's not lying about that. Really? She sounds like a tyrant. I suppose even her photograph, she doesn't look soft or kind. But so beautiful. I kept losing my train of thought. I didn't care. Yes, a tyrannical queen. Maybe it makes sense for a tyrannical queen to be beautiful. Alice, you're being very bi right now. I think I want to meet her. Good lord, Alice. It's a dream. It should be easy. I have to meet someone this beautiful.
口癖は首をはねろだぜ。会いたいか。
Maybe I shouldn't meet her after all. You have to, Alice. You need to. I will make you.
この女に関してはなるべく近づかない方が無難だろう。
Golan moved his finger across the map.
帽子屋の屋敷。この近辺は ブラッド・デュプレという男の領土だ。
Hatter, that's not a flattering name, it's actually very discriminatory. It's a slang word for being crazy or insane. I wouldn't want to be called that. For a man as powerful as he is to accept such a name, it must be very unusual. Let me guess, is he strange?
相当おかしい。
He didn't deny it at all. But he has
有
power?
力者だが、敵ってことを抜かしてもムカつく男だ。
Golan's words were full of scorn. Do you hate him?
やつだけは、俺が自分の手で殺してやりたい。
He's that bad? I thought Golan was actually very mild-mannered. Sure, he can be harsh, but he's a good person, despite his horrible taste in music. For Golan to say something like this...
嫌なやつだが、間違いなく有力者。帽子屋の屋敷や見た目は私有地だが、腕利きの門番を立て、作りは要塞のようになってる。
Isn't it too large to be called a mansion? Does all of this land belong to one person?
屋敷だけでなく、周囲の土地も全て奴の領土だ。城だ屋敷だと名目をどうつけているにしろ、有力者の一人の本拠。奴の写真もあるぞ。
Golan pulled out another photograph.
こいつがここを仕切っている男、ブラッド・デュプレ、通称帽子屋だ。
I looked at the photo, I thought it was some kind of joke. Him?
なんだ、どうした？
Golan didn't sound like he was trying to prank me. This man really does exist in this country. He's here in this world. I had to look away. My eyes were getting
こ
teary.
の男に見覚えがある。
My behavior was making Golan suspicious. I'd never met him before, but his is a face I'd never forget. This face belongs to a man in my own world, whom I will never ever want to see again. I hate him so much.
この国に知り合いなんていないだろう。ここに来る前に会ったのか。
He looks like my ex-boyfriend.
は？
My cheeks grew hot at his stunned reaction. He looks exactly like my ex-boyfriend. It's not my fault, I can't help it. It's not my fault? It can't be my fault. No, this really is my fault. This is my dream. The innermost part of my psyche. They're identical. This dream is the worst. A man who looks exactly like my former love. They might as well be twins. This must be some kind of joke.
あんたの恋人がどういう男だったかは知らないが、この世界ではマフィアのボスだぜ。
In the real world, my former love was my private tutor. I heard that he went on to start his own business somewhere. That man would have never worked for the mafia. With his personality, he would have been crushed. He was too gentle, even a little indecisive. He would never take up such an incendiary job. So the amusement park, hard castle, and the mafia are fighting each other. And the mafia boss is him?
ああ、帽子屋ファミリーっつふざけた名前のマフィアグループのボスだ。表立っているのは奴の腹心だが、裏で糸を引いてるのはこの男。非常に頭が切れるが気分屋。常にだるそうにしているのに退屈が嫌いという厄介な性格だ。
He's completely different from the person I know.
別人だろ。
On the inside. But they look so alike. This is the worst. Seeing him in a dream, it's like I can't let go of him. And besides, isn't this too perfect? Even if this is a dream, it's too coincidental for someone I know in real life to appear in this context. It feels like someone planned this. It's too absurd. The person who came up with this must be stupid. Which means I must be stupid. His face is so alike. The face and build is identical. The man in the picture wears a fancy hat and old-fashioned clothes, like the kind a nobleman would wear when riding, but
その
otherwise...
元恋人ってのは性格悪かったか？
No. He was a kind man. Kind and cowardly. He couldn't even say goodbye.
じゃあまるっきり別人だ。似てるなんて言っちゃ元の彼氏に失礼だぜ。
Garland forcefully insisted, interrupting my thoughts of the past. Why do you hate this? Why do you hate this Blood to Pray so much?
やつはな、俺のフルネームを言いふらした張本人なんだね。それまでゴーランドで通していたのに、やつがどこからか嗅ぎつけて言いふらしたんだ。おかげで今じゃ町の住人までが俺のフルネームを知っちまってる。
I could nothing but an indifferent response. The three rulers of this country seemed to hate each other equally. There should have been ugly stories between them, but the real reason turns out to be schoolyard name-calling.
人が気にしていることをついて嫌がらせしやがって。最低だろ。
Yeah, oh yes, horrible. As horrible as a playground bully. If you were a child, I would say Blood was a naughty boy. Actually, it would be strange if the mafia boss had been a good boy, almost scary. Even looking at the picture, he looks the type who likes to bully people.
あいつの最低なところは言いふらしたことだけじゃねえ。自分が言いふらしたくせに我関せずって面で気の毒だとか言いやがって。会うたびにメリーメリーを連呼するんだぜ。名字で呼べっつうのに。
Uh-huh. No doubt about it. That man is a bully. But, wow, Golan sure is bullyable. That's kind of sad.
同じようなこと言うな。
What did I say? I'm not copying the header. I'm not one of those fraction leaders. I don't need to demoralize my enemies. So I don't need to tease him, though I still kind of want to. Sure, I teased him once before, but it was different back then. I didn't need to join in the fun. Because I know better. No more being chased around the park by a man wielding a sniper rifle. Yeah. That's Blood to Pray sure is a horrible person, right? Even though I agree with Blood to Pray on the inside, I decided to support Goland. If I ever see Blood to Pray bullying Goland, then I'll stay out of it. Now, if I'm the one who starts it, that's a different story.
すんげえ嫌なやつ。あんた、ブラッド・デュプレに会えば嫌いになるんじゃないか。別れた恋人のことも、顔が一緒でもうんざりするの。ショック療法とかいうやつだな。
You are very kind, Golan, but holy shit. Golan is a nice person, really. In an awkward way, he's actually trying to comfort me. But it's mortifying. He can see through me so completely. It's somehow bitter and sour. I don't want to meet him. He looks like the man who broke my heart. It's disgusting. Even if they're completely different on the inside, seeing his looks is more than enough. I don't want to reopen old wounds.
新しい恋でも探してたとだ。ブラッド・デュプレはおすすめしない。
Sorry, but I rejected. I've given up on love, not for the rest of my life, but now, definitely. He'll probably tell me to get over my broken heart. Maybe I won't feel like this forever, but no, it's too soon. I'm not ready. I can't even look at his face without wanting to scream. Can't do that to myself, I won't. This is such a horrible dream. I don't even want anyone to like me. Having friends is good, but I don't need love. I'm fine by myself. It doesn't bother me. Even if I don't have a boyfriend, friends are more fun anyway. Preach.
意地っぱりだな。そういう年頃ってやつか。
Maybe.
いや、あんたの場合、もっと根が深そうだ。
Just when I thought we were finally on the same page, Golan looked at the map
最後
again.
に時計塔広場だ。
That's where I was dragged into this world.
そうらしいな。あそこはこの国の中心部にあるから引き込まれやすかったんだろ
I told him how I'd gotten here. He listened to me with a sympathetic
う。時
ear.
計塔広場は中央に位置していて、立場も中立。どことも争ってないし、勢力争いもしていない唯一の場所だ。害がない限り、よそでの争いも不干渉。多勢力側も放置している感じだな。ここは誰かの場所ではなく、市街地のど真ん中にあるただの広場だ。参勢力のどこの領土にも入っていない。周りの市街地で税金などの徴収は行うが、誰の支配かというわけでもない。他の市街地と違い、この近辺は誰も治められない。
So it's a special neutral zone. In times of war, it's common for there to be parley zones. I've never been in a war, but I have a basic grasp of what one entails. I said it out loud. Golan glanced at me with admiration. He was really easy to read. Are you saying you don't read? Never mind. Are you saying you don't read? I wanted to ask, but then changed my mind. So you don't read, do you? Sometimes, That's not what I meant by reading. If you read your occasional sign, it doesn't count. Golan tries to change the subject. Yeah, he's the first person I met, so I remember. I felt a surge of anger again, not at Julius, but Peter. How dare he drag me into a dangerous world? Julius seemed eccentric, but he's a nice man. Do you think so too, Goland? Do you think that Julius is a good person? Indeed, indeed. So you like him? He's someone I would like to be friends with. He seems quite thoughtful. Definitely rude. No, not at all. I practically shouted. I know there's the castle, the mafia, and the park. But what does that mean? What does each fraction stand for? How does the economy work? How do they run their governments? What about all the townspeople walking around? Do they have jobs? In what industries? It was too much to ask. Alice is the person who criticizes the world building in fantasy novels. For a realist, my dream sure has a lot of loopholes. It's a dream has become the catch-all excuse for everything. All I understand is that I don't understand. A bit? If this weren't a dream, I wouldn't set one foot outside. It's extremely dangerous. Obtained hourglass. Number of users 6. Thank you. What's this? An hourglass? I've used these to help me brew tea, but I don't think I need to do that. Like Julius's gun? If it can change the time period, it must be important. How does it work? Are you sure I can have something so valuable? That's what I said, but I quietly slipped it into my pocket. You said you would give it to me, right? I'm not giving it back. Alright. Now we can actually say hello to the other guys. And by the way, here is the flag monitor. So you can actually see how many affection points you have for each of the characters, how many hourglasses you have, how many duty points you have, aka responsibility, which lead to a bad end. Time period. Unlock. And the number of turns. I think there were like, how many turns was it? At least 100. So, alright. Well, one important thing to do is we absolutely need to say hello to Vivaldi and the Bloody Twins. Well, might as well introduce ourselves to everyone, you know? So, let's start. Ah yeah, and we haven't met the last person here yet. So, let's say hello to Vivaldi first. Or you say we should go to Peter first. And you see here, 1 point went up. God.
久しぶりです。
Peter comes hopping onto me like a rabbit. I resist the urge to struggle away. That's right, I came to see you. I just had some time to kill.
僕に会いに来たんですね。そうだと思いました。寂しくなったんでしょ。僕もですよ。
He squeezed me into an even tighter hug. He completely ignores the part about being here just because I was killing time. As always, those big ears only seem to be able to hear what's convenient for
あ
him.
なたがこの世界に留まってくれるのなら、それだけでもいいんですが、やっぱり愛する人とは一緒に過ごしたいですよね。僕は幸せです。
I wonder what possessed me to come meet him like this. It was me, Alice. I led you to it. I heard he's the Prime Minister of Castle, but he doesn't really look like it. Just because I know that now, it's not like I suddenly see this person called Peter White any differently. You really haven't changed.
僕は変わらずあなたを愛していますよ。
I'm saying you haven't changed in being a peep.
真面目で一途なウサギになんてこと言うんですか。ひどいな。
Diligent and earnest. While being embraced, I could see his face from close up. Having rabbit ears is suspicious enough, seriously a man with rabbit ears. But Peter doesn't look like an honest person anyway. He's stunning, but I feel like his glasses brings out how convening he looks. Huh.
鼻で笑いましたね。一途にあなたを持っているのにひどい。
This is getting on my nerves. Why did I even bother coming to see you?
それは僕を思うがゆえに足が勝手に
What a girly thing to say.
バカにされている気がします。
I'm obviously making fun of you. And also pitying you a little.
なんだかそっちの方が痛いので前者でお願いします。
So even you can't stand being pitied, huh? He's so gorgeous it hurts. Maybe you could be my type if you behaved properly.
普段はキリッとしていますよ。そういう姿を見せたらあなたも僕を好きになってくれます。
Maybe. You seem like you would be popular with girls because you have a nice face.
僕はあなたに好かれたいんです。他の誰かじゃなくてあなたはどうなんです？常にキリッとしていたら僕のことを好きになってくれますか？
Because Peter's staring at me so seriously, my comeback gets stuck in my throat. You would also need not to have rabbit ears and stop saying things about loving me. I was speechless for a second, but of course, something sarcastic came out of my mouth in the end.
嘘つき。
I'm not lying. Even if he behaved properly, even if he didn't have rabbit ears, whether it was Peter or not, as long as he didn't say he loved me, I could come to like him. So long as it didn't have to develop into something romantic. Anyway, I'm telling you, it's hopeless. You do behave badly, and you do have rabbit ears. And you are always saying you love me. Can't you see how hopeless it is?
あなたのためなら変われるのに。
Come on. Somehow, now that the conversation sounds like a joke again, I feel better. He has a screw loose in his head, but that's easier for me to deal with. If he tells me he loves me with a straight face, that's what worries me.
僕じゃダメなんですよね。勝ちたいゲームほどうまくいかないってこと、ちゃんとわきまえていますよ。
Whatever. Let me go. I can breathe. Alright. You're forcing me to do everything in the right way. Alright, let's say hello to Blood Dupree. The music is nice.
おや、君は。
Blood Dupree. The face I saw in the photograph. I know this face even outside of that photo. Even when seeing him face to face, he looks just like the person I know. I'm hopeless. How pathetic do I have to be dreaming of my ex-boyfriend like this?
私を知っているのか？光栄だ。
This person resembles him so strongly, and yet at the same time they're completely different. The man in my memories didn't have such a lethargic demeanor, nor was the look in his eyes this cold. I've seen your photograph before. He's just as handsome as he was in the photograph, and a carbon copy of my acquaintance.
君はよそ者だな。
Have you also heard of me?
よそ者だということはね。だが名前までは知らない。名乗ってもらわないことにはな。
Lad smiled. Even though I hadn't been ordered to, I quickly felt an ominous pressure to introduce myself quickly. I'm Alice Little.
いい名前だ。よく似合っている。
You think so? That's normal. His tone was rather forward. One would think him a playboy with the way he behaved around women he has just met. And yet, he was somehow scary. According to the explanation I received earlier, this man, Blood Dupree, was the boss of the Mafia. But I could have noticed that there was something scary about him even without previous knowledge. He had a certain strength in his aura, something that was similar to, yet different from the distinctive gravity of a person of high status should have. Maybe this is what one feels when faced with a wild animal. While the hunter revels confidently in their ability to devour their kill at any time, the prey shakes in terror from the fear of being eaten. A man who you would be afraid of to turn your back on.
警戒しなくてもいい。私の顔が嫌いか？
My body reacted with a light start to that question. Realizing my involuntary reaction made me panic. I had ended up staring at him unconsciously. I don't hate it.
じゃあそんなに睨まないでくれ、お嬢さん。
I'm not glaring. I was aware that I was doing so, but I can't help but laugh. Even leaving out the resemblance with my acquaintance, this person was someone who needed to be handled with caution.
まあいいよ。全く警戒されないよりも少し警戒されるくらいの方が男として不都合がないからな。
He was being forward again, using a dramatic expression on purpose. I knew it was simply a pose, but it still looked good on him. If one excluded the lethargy and lack of motivation in the way he conducted himself, he might be a mafia boss, but he could have made a career out of marriage swindling. I was on my full guard in front of him. He's fairly handsome even with that strange hat. I'm weak for that type of face. It's too familiar for my acquaintance for me to fall for him, however.
嫌われていないのなら仲良くしよ
Has he not noticed my nervousness? He keeps talking to me in a friendly manner. He smiles at me as I stay unresponsive. His smile is also scary.
う。よそ者は珍しいんだ。
There's no way he hasn't noticed. He's having fun on my accord. What an unpleasant man. He's completely different from the person I knew. It's only a stranger with a similar facial structure. That fact relieved me to a bizarre degree. I find all the residents of this place very unusual. I haven't been acquainted with any mafia bosses before either. Let's be friends.
君とは気が合いそうだ。
It seems that way. The compatibility of our wicked personalities was beyond doubt. And I guess lastly, the clock tower. Hello, Julius.
お前は
Despite that I hadn't seen him in a while, Julius was as blunt as when we first met, of course. In the past few days, well, with the times changing randomly, I don't know how many days have already passed, he hadn't lost that rudeness. No matter what was to help him, he would change. Because I felt like it? The answer of why I came was phrased as a question. I knew I wasn't really welcome here. Despite this lack of welcome, I still came by.
なんとなくだとなんとなくで来るな。仕事の邪魔だ。
Being around you is relaxing.
薄気味の悪いことを言うんじゃない。
Odd as it may have been, his contrary attitude was calming. I rather like you, Julius. He stared at me suspiciously. I don't mean that in any weird way.
誰も変な意味だなんて言っていない。
Your eyes said it for you. He returned my accurate words with a glare.
そう感じるのなら変なことを言うのはやめろ。
You're so cold. It's a cold aspect of him that doesn't care whether people like him or not that I like about him. Somehow I see myself in him.
よそ者なら他にもっと歓迎されるところがあるだろう。なんだってこんなところに来るんだ。
That's true, but everything else aside, the person whom I visit the most in this world is Julius. Even I don't know what I'm thinking. I would rather not be liked by everyone.
私は壊れた時計の修理をしている。それが仕事だ。地味だが、時計を触っている時間は気が休まる。
Okay.
邪魔をしないなら、たまに見に来てもいいぞ。
Julius, I'm not doing your out, but you're being cute again. Thank you so much, Julius. I mean, look at him. He's just a big old Sandra. Here's the overview. And here we can change to which time period we want it to be. Alright, let's see if we can visit Vivaldi now. We can. And this is a good place to end the episode. So next time we will introduce ourselves to, every single character here, and then proceed on with Boris' route. So until then, goodbye!